It's a slow death. A death by 1,000 compromises. It starts small. She wants to change the vacation plans you spent months organizing. She wants you to cancel your gym session because she's had a bad day. She insists you abandon your hobbies, your friends, your mission, because they interfere with her immediate emotional comfort. You feel the resistance rising in your chest, the instinctual urge to assert your reality, your needs, your boundaries. The word no forms in your mind. But then the calculation begins. The instinctual urge to assert your reality, the inevitable argument, the weaponized tears, the silent treatment, the accusation that you are selfish, controlling, or unloving. And so, you do what you always do. You swallow the no, or unloving. You say, subconscious assessment of the cost of that no. Sure, you choose the illusion of peace over dignity. You choose compliance over self-respect. And every time you do it, a small part of your masculinity evaporates, and a small part of her respect for you vanishes. You are living in a self-imposed prison of agreeableness. You are the quintessential nice guy, the man who believes the catastrophic lie that happy life is the path to fulfillment. Stop lying to yourself. Stop believing that this path leads anywhere other than contempt, resentment, and the eventual destruction of your sanity. You are terrified of the word no. You are terrified of the conflict it unleashes. I have counseled hundreds of men who are trapped in this exact dynamic. Men who are paralyzed by the fear of their partner's emotional reactions. They all want to know, what happens if I finally say no? It's a question that reveals a profound misunderstanding of the nature of power and respect. Today, we are dissecting the anatomy of the no. We are exposing the psychological earthquake that occurs when you finally assert your reality. And we are revealing the terrifying, liberating truth that the conflict you are avoiding is the only path to the respect you crave. What happens in that moment is not a negotiation. It is a detonation. Your entire approach to relationships is based on a flawed premise. You believe that compliance buys peace, that agreeableness buys love, and that self-sacrifice buys loyalty. This is the happy life delusion. And it is a suicide pact. It is a catastrophic misunderstanding of the female psyche and the dynamics of attraction. Women are not attracted to compliance. They are attracted to strength. They are not attracted to self-sacrifice. They are attracted to self-respect. Every time you say yes when you mean no, you are signaling weakness. You are signaling that you have no boundaries, no mission, no masculine core. You are signaling that your reality is secondary to her feelings. You are the king who voluntarily becomes the court jester, hoping that the queen will appreciate his humility. She doesn't. She despises his weakness. So what do? You try to negotiate. You try to compromise. You try to use logic and reason to explain why her demands are unreasonable. You are bringing a spreadsheet to a psychological war. You are operating under the delusion that if you can just present a compelling enough argument, she will acknowledge the validity of your position and respect your boundaries. She will not, because the content of the argument is irrelevant. The context of the power dynamic is everything. This is the battle for frame control, the battle for whose reality will prevail. When you negotiate your boundaries, you are signaling that they are negotiable. When you explain your decisions, you are signaling that you need her approval. Stop negotiating. You are signaling that they are negotiable. Stop apologizing. Stop explaining. Conventional advice tells you to choose your battles. When you choose your battles, you are conceding the war. You are accepting that her frame is dominant and that you must carefully navigate within it. Wake up. You need to stop prioritizing the relationship over your own dignity. Because without dignity, there is no relationship. There is only servitude. What actually happens when you finally say no? It is not a simple transaction. It is a complex psychological event that triggers a cascade of reactions. To understand the magnitude of this moment, you must accept these 4 brutal truths. Brutal truth number 1. The demand as a fitness test. The compliance tax. You must first understand that the demand itself is often irrelevant. It is not about the curtains, the vacation, or the canceled plans. It is about compliance. It is about control. It is about testing the limits of your willingness to sacrifice yourself for her sake. The demand is a shit test, a subconscious mechanism that women use to assess the strength, resilience, and value of their male partners. Think of it as a compliance tax. Every time she makes a demand, she is levying a tax on your time, your energy, your resources, your masculinity. And like any tax authority, she will keep increasing the tax until you refuse to pay. This dynamic is deeply ingrained in female psychology. Women are biologically wired to seek the strongest, most dominant male available, hypergamy. When you comply with her demands, you are demonstrating submission, not dominance. You are failing the test, and this failure does not satisfy her. It terrifies her, because it means she is with a man who cannot protect her, who cannot lead her. If you cannot stand up to her, how can you stand up to the world? Her escalating demands are a subconscious attempt to find the limits of your strength. She is desperately looking for the point where you will finally say no. Brutal truth number 2. The compliance spiral and the death of desire. This is the direct consequence of your chronic compliance. The more you say yes, the less she respects you. The less she respects you, the less she desires you. This is the compliance spiral, a vicious cycle that transforms a relationship of passion and respect into a relationship of contempt and obligation. Attraction is based on strength, competence, and the perception of high value. When you prioritize her demands over your own mission, you are signaling that your mission is less important than her feelings. This is profoundly unattractive. You become the agreeable drone, the man who has high utility value but low attraction value. I had a client, a successful doctor. He provided everything for his wife. The dream house, the luxury cars, a vicious cycle that transforms a relationship of passion and respect into a relationship of contempt and obligation, no matter how unreasonable. The luxury cars, but she despised him. She spoke to him with utter contempt. He thought he was being the perfect husband. She hadn't had sex with him in years. He came to me confused and broken. He couldn't understand why she hated him when he gave her everything. He didn't understand that by giving her everything, he had taken away the one thing she truly needed, a man she could respect. He had sacrificed his masculinity on the altar of agreeableness. When you say no, you are breaking the compliance spiral. You are signaling that you have self-respect, that you are not a utility. You are a man. Brutal truth. Number 3. The moment of no. The vending machine rebellion. So what happens in the exact moment you finally say no? It is a psychological earthquake, a reality shock. It triggers a profound cognitive dissonance. The man she thought she knew, the compliant, agreeable, weak man has suddenly disappeared. He has been replaced by something stronger, something unpredictable. Think of a vending machine. She is used to putting in a demand, the coin, and receiving compliance, the product. She does this automatically, without thinking. When you say no, it is the moment the vending machine stops working. The coin goes in, without thinking. She is used to putting in a demand, the coin, and receiving compliance, the product. Disbelief, confusion. In her reality, disbelief. Your no is a violation of the laws of physics. But the product does not come out. If you deliver the no with anger or aggression, she will dismiss it. She will label you as unstable or abusive. She will use your emotional outburst as justification for her behavior. But if you deliver the no with calm, stoic indifference, with the quiet confidence of a man who knows his own worth, that is when the reality shock hits hardest. She realizes that the leverage she thought she had over you, the fear of conflict, the fear of loss, is gone. This is a terrifying moment for her, because it means she is no longer in control. But it is also the moment when respect can begin to return. Brutal truth. Number 4. The inevitable backlash. The extinction burst. This is the most critical truth you must understand. When you finally say no, the situation will get worse before it gets better. Dramatically worse. She will not apologize. She will not thank you for your newfound strength. She will attack. This is the extinction burst, the psychological phenomenon that occurs when a behavior that was previously rewarded her demands rewarded by your compliance is suddenly no longer rewarded. She will escalate the behavior in a desperate attempt to regain the reward. She is shaking the vending machine. Think of a child throwing a temper tantrum. If the parent always buys the candy to stop the tantrum, the child learns that tantrums work. If the parent finally says no, the child doesn't just stop. They scream louder. They throw themselves on the floor. They escalate the behavior to the maximum possible intensity. The extinction burst will involve the full arsenal of emotional manipulation. The nuclear tears. The hysterical crying designed to trigger your guilt and empathy. The shaming barrage. The accusations that you are selfish, narcissistic, toxic, or abusive. The silent treatment on steroids. The complete withdrawal of communication and affection designed to trigger your fear of abandonment. The ultimate threat. The threat of divorce, breakup, or even self-harm. This is the crucible of resolve. The moment when most men break. They cannot handle the intensity of the emotional onslaught. They cannot tolerate the discomfort of the conflict. They apologize. They retreat. They revert to the old patterns of compliance. And in doing so, they make the situation infinitely worse. They have shown her that their no is meaningless, that their strength is a facade, that all she has to do is escalate the conflict, and they will eventually fold. You must withstand the extinction burst. You must remain unmoved by the emotional onslaught. You must hold the line. Because it is only when the extinction burst fails that the behavior will finally change. So how do you do it? How do you say no effectively and survive the inevitable backlash? It requires a fundamental shift in your mindset and a ruthless implementation of new behavioral protocols. This is not about winning arguments. This is about reclaiming your reality. Here is your protocol for asserting your frame. E. Internalize your boundaries, the non-negotiables. Before you can say no to her, you must know what you stand for. What are your non-negotiables? Your values, your mission, your boundaries. This is not a negotiation with her. This is an internal audit. Your boundaries must be clear, concise, and absolute. They are the laws of your reality. You must internalize these boundaries so deeply that your no is automatic, instinctual, and unwavering. R. The delivery calm indifference. No J.A.D.E. The delivery of the no is crucial. It must be delivered with calm, stoic indifference. Do not shout. Do not argue. Do not show emotion. Maintain eye contact. Lower your tone of voice. Deliver the no as a statement of fact, not a point of negotiation. Crucially, you must not J.A.D.E., justify, argue, defend, or explain. When you J.A.D.E., you are signaling that your decision requires her approval. You are opening the door to negotiation and manipulation. The no stands on its own. If she demands an explanation, refuse. I have made my decision. If she tries to argue, refuse. This is not up for discussion. San. Withstand the storm. The art of non-engagement. This is the hardest part. You must be prepared for the extinction burst. When the storm hits, you must become the rock, unmoved, impenetrable, indifferent. Do not react to the tears. Do not engage with the accusations. Do not comfort her for the consequences of your boundaries. Your mantra must be, hold the line. If she escalates the conflict, walk away. Remove yourself from the situation until she regains control of her emotions. We will talk later when you are calm. You must demonstrate that her emotional manipulation, her emotional terrorism has no power over you. C. The nuclear option, the willingness to walk away. This is the ultimate boundary, the foundation of your frame. You must be willing to lose the relationship if she refuses to respect your boundaries. If she continues to escalate the conflict, if she is incapable of accepting your no, then you must be prepared to walk away permanently. Your dignity is more important than the relationship. The paradox is that the moment you are truly willing to walk away is the moment you have the most power, because it means you are no longer controlled by the fear of loss. It means you are free. If she realizes that you are willing to lose her, she will either adapt to the new reality or she will leave. Either way, you win. You regain your dignity, your freedom, and your future. So there you have it, the terrifying, liberating truth about what happens when you finally say no. It is not a path to peace. It is a path to conflict. But it is a conflict that leads to respect, attraction, and the reclamation of your masculinity. The word no is the foundation of your frame. It is the declaration of your sovereignty. It is the measure of your strength. You now understand the compliance spiral, the nature of the shit test, the reality shock, and the extinction burst. You have the protocol to break free. The path is clear. But are you going to take it? I doubt it. Most of you watching this are too afraid. You are too addicted to the illusion of peace. You are too terrified of the conflict. You will watch this video, feel a temporary surge of motivation, and then the next time she makes an unreasonable demand, you are going to fold. You are going to say yes. You are going to betray yourself. Why? Because it's easier. It's easier to be the compliant nice guy than the strong man who demands respect. It's easier to avoid the extinction burst than to withstand the storm. It's easier to live in the familiar misery of a disrespectful relationship than to face the terrifying uncertainty of standing alone. You prefer the comfort of servitude to the burden of freedom. So go ahead. Ignore everything I just said. Keep saying yes. Keep walking on eggshells. Keep wondering why she despises you. Or you can wake up. You can embrace the conflict. You can say no. You can hold the line. You can reclaim your dignity. The choice is yours. But remember this, a man who cannot say no is not a man. He is a utility. Prove me wrong. If you have faced the extinction burst and survived, I want to hear your story in the comments. What happened when you finally said no? How did she react? We need to share these battle reports.